What's up, everybody? It's Famine from Famine Studios. Happy Tuesday. We are live and at it. How are we doing tonight, guys? Sound off in the chat. I'm going to start greeting our friends as you guys come in. Yeah, it's a Tuesday, right? Tuesdays are usually the Tuesdayest day for me. Was busy at work. I had some other stuff going on today, but we're here. We've got a couple of projects that we can work on. I really couldn't choose. Halloween is usually where I'm most creative. That used to be like that was my creative season. I did a lot of work for the Linda Theater, our local WAMC branch, with their Zombie Film Feast, which was a zombie film festival, but we also had a zombie prom. We did a zombie carnival. Just tremendous artwork. Did a lot of props. I used to run a home haunted house, so I also did a lot of prop work in the months leading up to Halloween. If this were years in past, I would take tomorrow, Halloween, and the day after off from work, and I would populate it Halloween day, run the haunted house, take it down the following day. Yeah, we're here. We're doing it live. Let's see what's going on in the chat. We got Bjorn. Bjorn walked in first, turned the lights on, put a pot of coffee on. This Famine guy, oh my God, everywhere I go, he's like, hey, I'm Famine Studios, like and subscribe. It's weird. Ian, what's happening, my friend? Yeah, tickle the like button. You know, you just get a little one of those. If you have to use the alphabet to figure it out, you'll get it. Red, what's going on? Happy Tuesday, and it is Monday part 2. Kind of bummed about the 1-8 team status. 1-8 team hiatus. Saying 1-8 team sounds incorrect, so my body automatically wants to correct it to 1-8 team. But the 1-8 team hiatus, but sounds like Wilhelm needs the rest. Other than that, not bad. I'm guessing somebody on a different channel is taking a break on some things. And Bjorn is working on his Ewok mouse. Yeah, dude, those things look. That was a stroke of genius to put that to put the mouse head on there. I mean, as far as the tail goes, you could do green stuff or epoxy sculpt. I mean, somebody had mentioned in the chat Halloween decorations. Quite literally, there's like those 6-packs of fake mice. Just get those and cut the tail off. Drill a little hole, a dot of super glue, plug it in. You got a mouse tail. 1-8 teams, the other show you moderate. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, there's options there. I started working on a little horror thing today. This is from Clora Studios. The bust started out that color. It is a zombie pilot, and I'm going to be painting that. That's just a me project. Sometimes I got to do a little something for me. And yeah, I'm excited to crack away at that. I was going to work on that during the live stream, but you guys come here for the sci-fi and the dinosaurs and stuff, so we'll work on that. I mean, you also come for, this face, the hat. People come for the hat, So I feel you. But let's take a look at what we got. Bring you guys down a little bit. So it feels more like I'm talking, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you. What's that girl's podcast called? Talk to her? Dude, spoilers! All right, so we've got a Velociraptor that I could be working on. We've got a We've got a Velociraptor I could be working on. I thought about doing this because it's kind of spooky, but also because I kind of want a Velociraptor. Another one to join that pack that I have that are starting to populate gimmick. We could work on a deity. I want to add, I think, some tusks to this and then put it on like a pedestal and make it into a statue, some type of old god. Because it's not Ganesh and it's not an existing deity. If my thoughts are correct, it does kind of look similar, but it's a Christmas ornament too. That's the other thing. So and then we've got the Mech Walker. We could continue slapping paint on that. I think I'm gonna work on the dinosaur today. I think that's a solid plan. But again, this chicken walker has been fun. But I think we'll work on the dinosaur today, the raptor. Scary critter. It's right around Halloween time, so that'll work out. Who's a loser? Why are we calling names? God, this is a family program. All right. This is a family program. Anthony, what's happening? And Bjorn's already looking for stuff at Joe Fest. I will be at, and for anybody who watches after the fact, welcome and thank you for watching the show on the replay. I'm going to be at what's that horrible politician that freezes because he's fucking 9,000 years old and the system shuts down? Legion's Con. There it is. Legion's Con. I completely blanked out. I'm going to be at Legion's Con, not this weekend, but next weekend on Saturday. I hope to see, thank you. Yeah, Mitch McConnell. Hope to see some of you guys there. I know it's a more 112 oriented convention, but I am going to check some things out. There's some critters and things like that I'd love to get my hands on. Beasts in the Mesozoic are going to have some representation there, so I'm excited for that as well. So anybody who's watching the replay that may be at that event, please hit me up. I would love to say hello. When I was in the single digits, I was first at a Halloween fancy dress competition, won one of the best toys ever, which was a model of a T-Rex made of interconnected parts of glow-in-the-dark cardboard. That's awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, this we're gonna go ahead and this is a Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, part of the 2-pack that came with the. Was this the Ellie Sattler set or was this the kitchen diorama? I think this was the When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth with Ellie. Came with a couple of raptors. But it's crouched in the pose of the original Cyclops raptor, which was a one-eyed toy. I mean, it had both eyes, but one of them was like whited out. So I think we're going to pay a little bit of homage to that. But one thing I know I want to do is I actually want to straighten this tail out. And I think we can do that. Best looking plastic Zorro sword with a piece of chalk at the top, naturally. Of course. Of course. So let me do this real quick. I'm gonna put up a screen here. And I mean, I am right here. I don't know if you can hear me. That's fine. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. Okay. So now hopefully you guys can see that. Nope, you can't because this stupid thing's on the screen. Boy, StreamYard, you really went out of your way to make some obnoxious changes. Anyway, so yeah, this raptor here, is modeled after the Cyclops Raptor. It's a little homage to that. So I think I'm going to kind of borrow the idea of the eye being blind on it, but I want to straighten out the tail, and I think I want to I want to make it look like closer to a more favorite dinosaur from Jurassic Park, a favorite paint scheme. So let me just go ahead and let me take you to this line here, because it's not going to be for Jurassic. It's obviously going to be for Gimmick. And like I said, there's that kind of pack of raptors that I've got traveling around. So let's go over here to the images. So I considered doing like, this is my all-time favorite paint job, but I want to save this Camo Extreme Canyon T-Rex for I think a Hammond Collection T-Rex. I think that would be really dope. So I'm going to save that. There's the option of there's a Desert Raptor, which was one of the mini toys. Let's see if they have a clear, okay, this is somebody's eBay listing. Do you have any head-on shots? I actually have mine somewhere. I also have my Spinosaurus. There we go. But that one's kind of ugly, right? They put that blue around the mouth and it just doesn't jive. This is kind of the way I would like to go, but there are other options. So we can take a look at those. That didn't share. Okay, I see what's going on. There we go. So again, there's that blue around the mouth, and that's the Desert Raptor. I don't like that. Not a huge fan. Like I said, I could certainly do something with this, the Desert Spinosaurus, but I think we can do a little better. So there were a couple more. You had your Night Velociraptor, which I'm just going to pull up pictures of that specifically. There we go. Well, that's somebody's repaint, so let's get the real toy up here. Can you tell I'm having a day over here? Oh, that's not it. I don't want to join your quest. I just want to show off this dinosaur. So they have a horrible photograph library, but there's that pattern as well. I think that's a little too dark, but there were plenty of options within the Camo Extreme line. I just thought you guys might get a kick out of seeing some of those things. But I'm leaning towards the Desert Spinosaurus, but not the big one. That one was rare. There's only one in existence that we know of. So I'd like to do the small one. So let me just pull that one up here. We'll make a couple of changes on it, but I think it'll be a good pattern for the Raptor. Come on. Boy, StreamYard is continuing to just disappoint. Oh, man. But I'm digging. I'm kind of liking the stripy pattern here. I don't know. I think I sit here and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and then I kind of make changes. So let's just rock and roll with it. Let's see what we can come up with. Okay. Sounds good to me. Sound good to you guys? Okay. Let me take a look at the comments. Best plastic sword. Planetary creatures. And honestly, any of the Kenner or the Mattel Jurassic, the Ceratopsians are always my favorite because they're so large. You can ride on them, have them be beasts of burden. War machines, people put plates on them and things like that. There's all kinds of options out there. But yeah, let me mute my microphone. We'll hit this with some hot air from the hairdryer and straighten out the tail. Yeah, StreamYard, it's night and day. When I did the test streams on YouTube plain, no issues, better quality. The only things that I didn't have are, of course, I didn't have access to my background. I didn't have my music library. I had to play it separately, and I couldn't share the chat live. That is something that YouTube should be looking into for its streamers if they want to bring people away from Twitch over to YouTube. Just my thoughts. So. All right, so that's a little rubberier than I thought it was going to be, but I think that's a little better. I'm going to be okay with it. Let's start by base coating this bad boy. I'm going to bring guys again down to my level here. Hey, Red. He's painting. He's painting, guys. All right. Right. So I think we need to make a lighting adjustment here. A little better? Is that better for you guys? Can you see that well enough? So I think we can just give this guy a little bit of a... Let's do a little work on him first. A little plastic surgery on our dinosaur here. We can certainly do that. I want to do a couple of things here. The first thing I do is I never liked the underbite on this figure. It just makes the jaw stick out a little bit too far compared to what I like. So I think what I want to do is just take a sanding stick and just round that a little bit. just kind of change up the profile a little bit on this critter. And there's some hairs, not real hairs, but you know what I'm talking about. When you start sanding that softer plastic and you get those little wispies that kind of stick up. Okay. Let's get those guys out of there. Cool. I think we can go a little tighter. I think we can use our X-Acto blade if we're real careful. We keep the angle correctly. We can certainly make this raptor have a slightly different profile. Much better. Alrighty. Okay. So. And I think we can tighten that up a little bit more. So we've got that cleaned up. And then we'll go ahead and we'll choose, somebody go ahead and say in the chat, left or right, left or right. I see a right. Okay, Bjorn was the first. Oh, Ant said left. Jesus Christ. One of you give me a fucking tiebreaker. I need a left or right for a tiebreaker right now. Okay, I'm going left. Y'all took too long. So I'm going to give the scar to the left eye, or above the left eye, I should say. Just going to take a little bit out so that there's a visible scar there. Come on. And we'll put that kind of diagonal. I'll add a little diagonal cutout there again. Okay. Yeah. We'll add a nice scar on the snout, just above the snout. And I always imagined, with at least in the Jurassic World, not Jurassic World, but in the Jurassic books and everything, they talked about how aggressive and like rough the raptors were in establishing dominance. And then in the Lost World, they really kind of leaned into it because there were tribes of these raptors. There seemed to be so many because they were breeding. And I just thought, yeah, like these guys would absolutely fight over dinner. You know, they'd fight over corpses, mates, anything that they could really wrestle and prove dominance on. So I love the idea of like a one-eyed velociraptor, but you know, he's kind of scarred up, but he's also still out there kicking ass. So we'll do a couple more scars here on his back. And those should pick up with the dry brushing. I can always go back in afterwards and make them pop. But I'll do that there. And then maybe a little scratch on the leg. All right. So I'm going to start hitting this with some black. Yeah, you know me, still the same OG, but I've been low key. Hated on by most of my neighbors. You thought I was going to say something bad, didn't you? Shame on you. You don't go into the tall grass. That's true. Like for legal. All right. So. We're going to go ahead and get this guy painted up in black. I'm not going to be too precious about paint rub on this. I've got a couple ideas about how we can kind of disguise it. And what's great, I mean, it's twofold, right? Because this isn't a super articulated raptor. But what's good about this is that because they're so limited, there's so little places for him to have paint rub, we can kind of fudge it a little bit with the paint job and not be too particular and still have a cool toy. You know, it's not like one of the blue figurines where they really have a lot of points of articulation, or one of the Hammond collection ones where it's, you know, really premium articulation on those figures, and you have to take them apart and kind of do a little sanding, a little bit of prep work ahead of time. We really don't have to do this on these guys. So we'll get a coat of paint on these guys, on this guy, I should say. And I'm doing my best not to shake. My wrists have been bothering me. Yes, that's something I've been noting. I'm going to be seeing a doctor for it. But could be carpal tunnel, could be a lot of things. But it's also because I've got like a death grip on this, and maybe I shouldn't. And I really like the sculpt on this and how he's kind of almost permanently crouched and low to the ground. I dig on that a lot. Gives that monster feel because, you know, these Velociraptors, they're genetically designed theme park monsters. And, you know, the ones that are here on Gimmick are from a universe where, you know, these were a real thing and they've been moved to other planets and populated. Maybe some dinosaurs still exist in outer space on another planet, and that's where they're pulled from, and they just happen to be similar to these. But yeah, you know, it's my little world, and it can be a space raptor, and that's that. How about that? Them apples. And then Matt Damon pops in and goes, it doesn't matter. Yeah, today's been a busy day. Is anybody doing anything special for Halloween? You dressing up? You gonna hand out candy to the trick-or-treaters? The treater-trickers? Someone did say Dinosaurs. Audi, that's me. Audi, thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, Audi. So Bjorn here was telling me that StreamYard is also messing up for another chat that he moderates for. So I don't know about you, but I'm starting to look for another streaming service that I can utilize through YouTube. I think I've got a couple. I need to sit down and read their terms of service, find some videos that break down, you know, who's a better streaming provider, what people are using, what some of the more experienced creators out there are utilizing. We're giving candy. Nice. Handing out candy at work by Bjorn. Yeah, I imagine you guys will get a lot of cute, you know, kids in their costumes and stuff at Chucky's. He'll be your friend till the end. You're missing the opportunity to convince your owner, or your owner, Jesus Christ, the owner, to dress up as Chucky from Child's Play. You know? You're like, come on, it's the namesake of the store. It'll be great. Chucky at Chucky's. I'm not telling you how to live your life, Bjorn. I'm just trying to tell you how to make it better and make it funny for your boss to have to dress like a doll. All right. I'm going to mute my microphone again. I'm going to blast this with some heat. Boy, that was fun. Couldn't get it to unmute there. Chucky from Rugrats. Okay. Now, normally, I would take this bad boy outside and blast it with some dull coat just to give it a seal. You know, I might still do that after I get a little dry brushing done on this, just so that we can lock in those steps, kind of like a save point in your video game. But also, I like to live dangerously. Okay. All right. I'm going to mute my mic again, and I'm going to blast this with some, going to blast it with some heat. So Ian, did somebody give the Ewoks a driver's license? Because I feel like that's just a recipe for disaster. All right, I'm going to use a little tray as my palette, using matte white from Army Painter War Paints. Now, putting a little my black paint that I'm almost out of. Is matte black from the same line. Okay. And then I'm going to take some retarder medium, very small amount. This is just going to make sure it stays a little bit wetter. Okay, apparently a lot amount. It's going to make sure that it stays moist. It's the word I want to use. I guess the paint doesn't cure as quickly. I guess that's how I describe it. So we're going to mix this together. And I want this to be a, kind of sort of a dark gray. Get that together. Pull that all in there. Here we go. And then we're really gonna a nighttime shadow. I want to move over him in such a way that there's kind of a black strip left in the middle. So, and because he's crouched, we have to kind of think that through too. Like, where would the gray be on his leg? So it'd be on the high points, maybe down here. Same with the arm, a little on his shoulders, a little bit towards the front, and then on his knuckles. We'll do that on his feet as well. And I'll get the other side to get the toe. But I like this gray here. And as I said, we're kind of pulling this, and it's allowing for that to stand out, right? You can see that on the screen, I hope. And then I want it to blend to the whole tail. So the whole tail will kind of more or less have this dry brushed color over it. But again, we're going to just pull this over him. We can get it on his eyes, that's okay. There we go. That's on his tail. I'll even do the underside of his tail. And I kind of like, if you'll see when I do my raptors, and you've seen it on the other two that I've got, I kind of paint the tip of the tail one color, because my thought is always like, if they're looking through a field and they're not communicating audibly, maybe one of them sticks his tail up so they can kind of see, and it's just a developed trait that they have from over the years. I think that'd be pretty radical. Be cool. Okay. A little bit on the inside of the arm there, a little bit on the inside of this arm. And so that's starting to stand out a little bit, which is what I want. I'm going to go over this side a little bit more just because I can. Get a little more paint on that brush. That's starting to look kind of like what I want. We'll do a little on the front of the face too. And now, as I look down the nose of the raptor, yeah, I gotta adjust this. There we go. As I look down the snout and look down the back, I've got that blank spot. And it kind of comes together right there, which is fine. And then it just bleeds into this tail tip that I want. But let's make that pop a little bit more. Okay. And now we're going to take that same gray that's there. We're going to hit it with a little more of the titanium white because we're going to lighten it up. It's still going to have that bit of dark pigment in there. So we'll pull this paint together. And get it worked in. Drain that off, clean that off, just get that other gray out of there. Now we've got this lighter gray. And I've got that on the brush. And now I'm hitting that middle area. And that's already starting to pop and blend. But I think we can go a little bit lighter. Yeah. But check this out. Because you'll see in a couple here what I'm doing. I'll hit the backs there. So you can kind of see how that started to blend. I think I'll go over it like Daft Punk says one more time. Hands, just on the one hand. That. Little bitty bit on the chin. Just enough so you know it's there. Okay, now we're going to lighten that up even more. In the words of Bob Ross, with some more white, titanium white. Okay. Okay. And I think that was enough of that for what I wanted here. Just that little bit of whitening. Pick some spots around the face, certain high points. Once again, just a little on the knuckles of the hands. No. There's that white. Now we're going to take a little of the retarder medium. Mix that in. A little bit of paint water. Because why not? Mix this in. All right. Mix, mix, mix. Oh, and get that gray. It's on the side. Don't care. We're gonna want this in a second. All right. So I think a little bit of water will help. There we go. Some people prefer to go to the consistency of skim milk. For what I'm about to do, I like the consistency of whole milk just because I feel like that gives me a little bit more cling with the paint, like it adheres a little better. And yeah, we'll see. I'm going to show you. So I've got my Wargame character detail brush, a little bit on there. And now we're going to start. I'm going to face her this way, or him. I'm going to pick out some nice shapes, kind of symmetrical. They do not have to be. These are just like natural markings. And that's the great thing about this, is because it's thin enough, you can kind of get some nice pointy tips on the ends. You don't have to drag it down far if you don't want to. We can come back. We're going to come over these probably twice just to make sure that they pop out and stand out. And we'll come in with a sharper tip and add nice little points on there. But we're kind of making the base for some cool, at least I think, cool designs. You know, as we get towards the middle, we kind of make them a little bigger. I would, personally. And so that's what I'm doing. We'll do the legs afterwards. But now we start to kind of tighten them up, bring them back in a little bit as far as the width goes. Okay. So now I've done that. So while I let that start to set up, I'm going to put a little on here on my paper towel, and I'm using the brush to make a tip on there. I used the paint to make a tip, and then I'm just going to pick out a couple of pebbles on the feet, on the toes, because I think it'll make it look cool. And I just like to imagine this thing ripping through the desert or the sewer around Gimmick and just moving faster. And, you know, because it's so quick, it's terrifying, right? Like that. Could you imagine that? Just any type of critter like this to begin with, just flying through the sewer at you. Probably quiet. Maybe it's not even screaming out because they're so used to working at night in teams, and just whew. And you just see the blur of the feet, almost like stripes. Could be a little hypnotizing even. And we'll put a couple, once again, we'll put a point on this. We'll be very careful. And we'll do a couple on the arms. Like I said, we'll come back and we'll put little tips on them. But I think 3 is pretty cool. It's a good number. Like I said, we'll do a couple of the claws, and the hands maybe. And then on the face, because we've got this opportunity here right now, while this bad boy is drying, let's go. We can do a little by the eyebrows, maybe extend that little there into the face. And I know this is difficult for you guys to kind of see. And I'm really like focused on the tiny little details, so I appreciate your patience with me. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take a finer tip brush. And that is my Insane Detail from Army Painter. And we're just going to put a little bit of paint on there. And I mean a little because we don't want to overload the brush. And we're going to come in here and we're just going to pull the edges of the paint into little tips, like almost like tiger stripe type. Because we want this thing to, you know, we want this sucker to look menacing, right? And I think that, like, cautionary warnings from nature with these sharp tips, and also it's kind of an homage to the original, the Cyclops, because he had those triangular patterns on him. Yeah, and that, Bjorn, that is a good reference there, because that is my favorite Alien movie, which actually gets people mad that I like Alien 3. That's my favorite. It was actually the first one I had seen, which also upsets people that I didn't watch the franchise in the order that they wanted me to watch it in. But I remember that weekend distinctly because I went to see my dad. I got to meet some of my grandmother's friends from her youthful years, and also I got to drive a boat that weekend on Lake Erie. And I got to borrow a copy of The Lost World from my grandma's friend's husband, who had just finished reading it, and was quite surprised when I found that Ian Malcolm had survived. And also, I guess, spoilers for, a 25, almost 30-year-old book. Spoilers. Okay. So now I want to hit this with, I want to go back and hit the tops of those again. You saw Aliens first, which isn't a bad one to see it from. I didn't realize, when I finally started to seek them out on my own, I didn't realize that Aliens and Alien were two different movies, because just the addition of an S confused a very young me, I guess. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I saw that. And they were talking about, like, the power, or, not the power loader, but, like, talking about Ripley and, Jonesy and the android Kane. And they're like, oh, that when the android went crazy and attacked her. And I'm like, what movie are you guys fucking talking about? Like, of course I didn't curse when I was a kid, but I'm like, what movie are you guys talking about? It turns out that Alien and Aliens, two very different films. Okay. Now, clean that out. And both of these out. And I'm going to mute myself again. And I'm also going to change this music. Music. I don't like what StreamYard has done to this. Yeah, people get mad when you have opinions. I was gonna say when you have opinions different from theirs, but it just seems to be like if you have any sort of opinion, a lot of people will be mad at that, and that's something that I've learned to accept as a fan of most things. And I like to tease people, now and again about their the things they like, but I'm not an absolute monster when it comes to enjoying things. Like, of course, everybody's going to enjoy something a little different than the next person. That's the way the world works. It would be really fucking boring if everybody loved. It's not the best Star Wars movie anymore. People do be mad. All right, I've got a brown here, Battle Brown, where we're starting to get freaky with it. And I've got a, where are you, son of a bitch? Well, yeah, we'll do Slaughter Red. Slaughter Red speed paints. And we're going to mix that up together. Bless you. You're so pretty, Snowflake. Just like, thank you, Father. I am awares. I like that brown red because it reminds me of drying blood. I've still got some red floating around there. So let's get it all mixed in. And we're going to get some of this paint on here. Took you a long time to get the place where you don't even... Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of occasions where I'm surprised that people don't enjoy something. But never am I mad or... Ooh, that would have been tragic. Never am I mad that somebody doesn't like the same exact thing that I like. Because guess what? The world would be really, really, really freaking boring if everybody liked the same thing. I mean, holy crap, it would suck so much. And here I am taking this paint. Honestly, I think that paint's a little too thick. There we go. Yeah, which is okay. We can just do that with it. Multiple coats never hurt. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to wet it a little bit. There we go. And I do like the way it's starting to look. And I'm telling you guys, the only reason right now I'm moving this raptor so much, normally I'd just either hold it in my paws and be staring at it with such intention, or I'd just hold it right still and paint, is because it looks, I have another screen set up and it looks like I am, yeah, it probably is a ripoff of the Terminator music, which is fine. But it looks like I'm not moving if I don't. Watching it on the second screen, so I just make sure that I rotate the camera every so often, or rotate the toy, I should say. And then, like I said, I want to go back through here and just put a little bit more paint on the tops. Because multiple coats never hurt. Now, I'm using that really fine brush that we used a little bit earlier. Let's tilt this bad boy. We're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to carry these red lines a little bit over onto the face, just a little bit to add some character. I think that'll look really cool in photos later. Because why not, right? Like I said, we're going to pull these into some nice points. And I will be going over the middle of these in just a moment with some solid, like that blood red, that slaughter red. But just to kind of make that, especially make that brown red pop, I think that'll help. I think it'll make it look pretty goddamn neat, if I'm being honest. And you guys know me, I kind of toe the line when it comes to my dinosaur paint jobs with real and toy. And I use the rule of cool often, and I think it'd be very toyetic to add some of that slaughter red to really make it stand out. All right, now we got to get this side. You prefer this building music? Oh, you mean you don't like the freaking jingle jam that I had on earlier? What is that? Look, there's a rogue hair on my brush that wants to go the opposite way of every single other hair on the brush. So I'm fighting with it. Come on, Lenore. That's better. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere, guys. Hell yeah. Okay. Now we're going to do a couple of knuckles. Oh yeah, I guess I should probably do that one too, huh? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Beautiful. Now it's starting to look like something. I'm going to hit that one spot. Where did I see it? There it is. What are we thinking? Starting to look like something, right? Actually, after I just clean that off. There we go. Starting to get somewhere. I'm digging that. I do want to add, like I said, let me see. Vampire Red or Slaughter Red? Let's see what Vampire Red looks like. Ooh, I think that's too red. Yeah, I think that's too red, but if I cut it with a little speed paint, I wonder. Just out of curiosity. Ooh. Yeah. Let's do this. You might be saying to yourself, Famine, why don't you just use a different palette? To which I say, mind your business. How about that for an answer? Okay. There we are. So we're going to go ahead and just barely out of the red. Don't be like me, kids. Don't dip your knuckles in the paint as you're working. Now, grab this little guy here. Now, I'm not too worried about doing the toes with this color because the toes are going to get dry brushed to kind of make them more subtle. Same with the hands, then the nails are going to get painted. But I think now would be a good time to clean these brushes up. So I think we're going to do an orange. No, we're going to do a yellow eyeball, I think. And this is Sand Yellow by Vallejo Monocolors. And the good eye is going to be yellow. And that's this guy right here. Okay, that's the first coating. Now we'll do the bad eye with the scar. We'll do it with the yellow, but then we're going to go over it with a milky, almost a milky white. So, same treatment. All right, let that dry. Clean that out. Now, as far as the nails go, we're going to lean back into that brown, that saddle brown, but yeah. Let me see how it looks on the front claws, and that'll determine the next moves. There you go, Famine. Put your fingers right in the paint. Good job. Thanks, Pastel. Now you know. Also, cool. Get that out of the way. Okay. I would like a partially flat brush, I think. Do I? Yeah, I guess I'll go with this brush. And this is where I kind of got to baby it a little bit. Now this brush ain't gonna work. We'll use this one. And my nails will be a two-step nail. I think we'll do a little wash over them in a minute once they're dry. It's the brown. Not 100% sold on the brown yet, but let's give it a second here, all right? Let's give it all she's got, Captain. And I do recognize I am not a chatty Cathy today. It's alright, because I got you guys here to keep me company and chat amongst yourselves. Kind of focused on... I haven't painted a dinosaur in a while, a space dino in a while. So, kind of having a little bit of fun here, picking out colors. And it's not often that I run right into a project like this without some sort of plan in my head. So, it's more or less just me picking out details and things and thinking of the way that I would, especially for my critters on Gimmick, because they're a little different than how I do them if these were, you know, in my Jurassic Park layout and my Earth layout, my Earth World, not to be mistaken with Earth World Comics, greatest comic book in upstate comic book shop in you know, how much detail do I want to put in? Because again, like I said, I kind of walk a line between what's toyetic and real. So I may sit here and take a gander and be like, that could go a little closer to the real realm. Alright, I'm digging that brown. And as I said, two coat process on these. Because they should get a little wash on them. So let's do the big toes next. And I will coat the feet, the toes, and the claws on the front with a varnish. I've seen Jurassic Junkie, he likes to do a gel brush on super glue. I don't. Mainly because whenever I do that, no matter how long I wait for that gel super glue to dry, somehow it's still a little tacky and I wind up sticking it to something and have to go back in 20 times to touch it up anyway. So, but we'll seal them up. Don't you worry about that. Old Famine's got that. Stuff, it's like art class. Hey, have a good sleep, Ian. Wait a minute, if this is art class, that means I'm the teacher? Well, that's not good. gonna have to put down a little more paint. No, but you can call me Daddy. See, I'd be a horrible teacher. Okay. Got a little bit on the toes there. Starting to get messy with it, fam, and don't screw it up now. Okay. Now we got some toesies kind of on their way there. Now we need a color, something I really like the idea of a reddish brown for the belly, right? Something that's kind of that unifier that helps blend the pattern together. This is just an experiment. It's a nice red. Let's see. Ooh, I do like that. Don't you guys love how I'm like, oh, this is just the experiment to see, and then I just start slapping paint on, which is honestly how I paint. If anybody hasn't picked up on that, I want that red, that color under the throat, almost like a vulture. Yeah, that was a good choice. Glad it was a good choice, because if that didn't, that would have sucked. Okay. Just a little on the inside of the thigh meat there. A little bit on the legs, just around the knees. Something to tie it together. A little on the hump of the leg. Pull that forward. Pull that forward. Come on. There we go. And on the feet, on the exterior. Again, we're just pulling this together. A little on his calf muscle. Just Trying to see how this is starting to look now. I'm digging that. I'm digging that. Let's see here. Do want that bottom jaw differentiate a little bit. Cool. Hell yeah. All right, so next we're going to do the messed up eye. We're going to do a matte white we're going to take a wet brush and do it. So it's just going to be that little bit of white paint to paint water. Basically, there ain't shit on this brush, but a little bit of white. That's gross. Ooh, no. Ooh. What if? Now, a little bit more black. There we go. And then we're going to do an orange slit in the eye. No. Yes. No. No. This is more or less how I choose. Come on. Here we go. And now, this is a little trick. Is I like to go underneath the eyes with black. Just gives the illusion of like maybe the lid's casting a shadow, and then following the radius of the upper eye lid. And so that starts to give you that. And you could put you can give it a little drop of white to give it a light catch if you want. And that blacked out eye, do the same thing. I'm going to go around underneath the eye and over the eye. But we're going to pick out those kind of scars in a second here. Add a little bit. Add a little bit. And I'm just going to put a drop of nostrils. Cool. Now, remember I told you guys about the second part to the nails? Yes. Very wet brush. Take a little bit of that. And just a pull away from what would be the cuticle. And it adds a little ombre effect. It's subtle, but it adds something. And you really only got to worry about getting the tops of the feet, of the toes. But that's on there, that's on there. So now let's clean up some of this mess here. Put some paint back. So now we got to do some preventative maintenance. For this, we're going to use a different tray just because I am being anal about this. Not in the fun way either. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and squeeze some of this out. This is anti-shine matte varnish. And I'll be putting that on with a brush on the feets. But first thing I'm going to do is just blast those with heat real quick. So I'm going to mute myself. Hey, Famine, you're on mute. Oh, thanks, guys. I've been over here explaining all this stuff. Oh, that's tremendous. Honestly, I forgot I was watching you, Famine. Ah, that's fair. We're just going to give him white teeth. So, yeah, I was saying I don't know why Hasbro, or excuse me, Mattel insists on giving dinosaurs yellow teeth. I just don't know. God, that's so funny. Yeah, I was over here giving you guys like a talk about like using certain things to seal your figures, to seal the claws, and how if you do it your way, you're doing it the right way, and if you do it a different way, you're doing it the right way, as long as you protect you're protecting your artwork and your material and all this other stuff. And I was like, man, nope, knock it off, buddy. Quit barking at your brother and your mom. Knock it off. There we go. Now we're getting some teethies. That's another thing they insist on doing, is they make the teeth like almost like one connected tooth. They don't. I'm not saying they got to take the time to individually line out the teeth, but they could spend just like $1 and get the mold right so that the teeth are separated. That's just me, though. She said black speed paint explode in your khaki pants. Well, now those are black pants. Those are your painting khakis. Yep. Have to touch that up in a second. Cool. Now. Knock it off, boys. Knock it off. Okay. Yeah, I decided against the yellow. We are gonna give him a light catch. Cool. And now, got those wounds though. We do want those to stand out a little bit, just to sell that injury. So I'm thinking, what color, kids? Don't want to do flesh. Brownish decay. see what that looks like. Nah, I don't like that. I think we need something. Yeah. Why not? Let's experiment. Right? We worked this hard, we made it this far. Why not experiment? And by experiment I mean Famine's just gonna pull the trigger and do it. No. Okay. And that one there. And then we got that scar that we made here. Alright. And then I have one more scar picked out on here. Where are you, Scar? Doesn't matter. It's right there now. Cool. All right. So we have a completed raptor that can join the pack that kind of menace around Gimmick and do a little hunting, and they clean up rodents and stuff. However, they are dangerous. That works just as fine. He's got scars on his face, scars on his body to show you he means business. He will get a mattifying coat, but I'm pretty happy with him. So I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I know it wasn't as I wasn't as chatty Cathy as I normally am, but it was fun. I liked it. I'm glad that I did it today. I hope you guys are well. I hope you have a great day. Don't run it in the dryer until the stain is done. Oh, we're trying to clean the pants. Sitting here like, what are you talking about? I'm not gonna put this guy in the dryer. It's never gonna happen again. I didn't do that on purpose. But let me just, I'm not gonna put on. Oh, that's terrible movement for you guys. Sorry about that. There we go. As I said. Beautiful raptor. The lighting does not do this thing just. That's a little better. But I hope you guys are well. I hope you have an excellent night. Thank you for joining me on this stream. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the button to subscribe, like the video if you think I earned it. Appreciate that. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/FamilyStudios. I will see you guys Friday night live on Worldmaker Consortium, 8 o'clock at night. Dead Man, what's happening? And I will catch you guys after that for another Foam Fab Friday. Be well.